We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training. And it's going to be an exciting week. Holy cow. Wow. Wow. A lot of momentum going into this week. Nora, what you got?
I had 18% for my overall last week. Um, and then if you have a team member leaving, like how do you make sure that like the transition of or like I don't know, the whole process goes smoothly, I guess.
Um, so my reflex response is just have Mark on the team.
Do you have a new person to replace them?
We do, theoretically.
And are they able to work together for a week or two?
Yes, they are. Did that help Nora or not so much?
Kind of. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's good. That's important. That's how we did it in the factory. You know, you'd work with the guy for, I mean, there you got less, but you'd work with the guy for a day or two, and then, hey, this is now you. Now go do it. Um, but it seems, or in my experience, it seems the little there's always something where the new guy misses. They weren't trained in, or something that they don't do or they do differently than the guy that they're person they're replacing.
Big time. Big time. And so that's where in Good to Great, Luke's going through and reading that book, which is awesome that he's doing that. And so, but that's written for big companies and small companies. There's a lot of difference. And so, um, and so, it's interesting because it's interesting because when in our early years, it was just brutal. I mean, I'd spend 2, 3, 4 years training. So as a small company, you go ahead and train a bunch of people, and then the big companies come and steal them away. You're like, really? And so after a few years of doing that, I just got tired of it. And I just said to new team members, I'm like, so I'm just curious, like, I'm going to spend, I don't know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years training you. Um, And so, you find a better opportunity or whatever. Like, how much notice are you going to give me? I do this in the application process, like in the interviewing process. I got so tired of it. I'm like, I am so sick and tired of developing people and having them, you know, like really. And they'd say the typical 2 weeks or something like that. And okay. And so if I can find somebody that's more proficient than you, or I can pay less than you, how much notice do you want me to give you? And that changed the tone. That changed the tone. So, what would be more sad to go ahead and have somebody that, I don't know, gave 3 months to go ahead and 3 months notice. I gave 9 months notice. when I left to start Synergy. So 3 months notice, and they worked their tail off for those 3 months, but you still weren't able to go ahead and do it. Or somebody who went ahead and gave 2 weeks notice and it only took, I don't know, a week. Like which one, or a few days, which one would be sad?
Probably the 1 week. Well, depends on which one you are.
Which individual,
Right. Are you the guy losing it, or are you the guy leaving?
right? So as a business owner, you know, so Ginger Ann, see, this stuff is life. It's just life. Like you think it's sales, you think it's business owning, but it's life. So Ginger Ann, she went ahead and dated a guy when she was, I think, probably 20, maybe 21. And I like this guy. He was a Coast Guard. Like, I like this guy a lot. He was a cool kid. And he called me up, and his dad was dying of cancer. And he called me up, and I'll never forget, I was on the front porch, and he's like, Mr. Boersma, I just wanted to give you a call. I'm like, hey, yeah. He says, my dad just died. And I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. And he's like, yeah. He's like, he was like my best friend. He said, I hurt so much. I wish I didn't have as good a friendship with him that I did. And I remember thinking a couple thoughts. One is, I remember thinking, he'll be fine. He'll be fine because it's a good hurt. It's not a bad hurt. And second is, dang, I don't even know what that feel like with my dad. I mean, my dad was a good dad, didn't beat me. I mean, he disciplined me, but he didn't have a connection with me. I mean, like we were at the funeral for my dad, and my older brother, who's a CPA, came up to me and said, Mark, my kids came up and said, Dad, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. Why do you ask? He's like, your dad just died. I'm like, that's weird. My kids did the same thing. Like, they came up to me and they're like, Dad, are you okay? Like, yeah, doing good, fine. Why do you ask? Your dad just died. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. And again, he was a good dad, just, there wasn't the connection. And I remember thinking, it's sad. I think for team members, what's interesting is often like, what's the worst team member you can have? It's not a bad team member. I think Tom told me this. Maybe not. I think he did. Not sure. But it's a mediocre team member. I mean, they're not bad enough to get, fire them, get rid of them. They're not a terrible bus driver. I mean, and good to great, but they're not great either. So mediocre team members, man, they're the most brutal because you can keep them for way longer than you should. So over the years, I've had the terrible experience. I mean, the terrible experience of losing a team member. And all of a sudden everything gets better after they leave. Like we often don't realize, like, and so yeah, the good to great is very applicable here. So good that you're reading that, Luke. Nora, anything, so your graphs, you're the blue graph. So any, you know, any thoughts or questions, Nora?
Yeah, I need to get it back up.
So anything I can do to help? You good?
Not sure.
Nora, do you know why you lost the fire in the belly?
Maybe partially, but not fully.
So I never know when there's silence. I don't know if like people haven't thought of this. Like just like they haven't thought of this. Or if they're thinking, but they're terrified of saying anything, asking a further follow-up question or sharing thoughts. Like I don't ever know. I don't ever know how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Marines, you know, they have a theme: no man left behind. So there's a movie out there that's based on a true story where there was, I don't know, one or two or three Marines left behind, and they sent in like 10. They'll risk 10 men's or women's lives. They'll risk 10 men to save one. Questions?
What are you referring to that here?
Well, it's interesting because you said on the good to great, you said they tend to like a level 5 leader is extremely humble. I agree with that totally. Okay. And when things go well, they tend to blame good luck for it. Did it say that?
Okay, it says they either blame others or good luck for it.
Yeah, don't ever blame good luck. Don't don't ever don't I'm like no. No, you do not want to ever say that. Blame others, give others responsibility. So yes, but you don't go ahead you do not go ahead and blame good luck on success. Why not? That is the stupidest thing to do as a leader.
Because it takes it out of your hands, out of your.
Well, the people that are listening to you are like, it's just lucky. I'm going to succeed in life. It's luck. If I don't, you don't want anybody you're leading to think luck has anything to do because then people won't work hard because they're like, yeah. So you don't want to do that. And then it says, if an individual does not fit your culture, do not bring them on the bus. So again, this is a big company. And um, so what happens if you can't find enough people to join the bus? Like, what if you can't find somebody with your culture? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or worse, what if the company owners don't have the culture themselves? Right?
Probably get them off the bus.
There's nobody going to be left on the bus, Luke. I mean, when you go ahead, the right people, on the bus do not need to be motivated or micromanaged. They will motivate and manage themselves. So it doesn't consider dimensional dimensional things. And so, like 1 to 10, how would you rate you and Kenny on they do not need to be motivated or micromanaged? How 1 to 10, how would you rate you and Kenny on being motivated and self-managed?
Maybe like an 8 or 9.
Okay. And Kenny?
The motivation's a 6. The micromanagement is 8.
Okay. And if you guys were to ask me to rate you, how would I rate you both?
Probably lower than that.
Right. Maybe a 1 or 2. If I didn't understand the next dimension principle, like my 1 or 2 might be higher than your, your 7 to 8, 6 to 8. So if we don't understand that, we don't develop people. And you got to develop people. You just do, especially as a small business. So this is, big companies, they have systems in place where it's just dog eat dog. Like you want that promotion, you'll work 80, 90. You want that position, you work 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. You just do. Once you get the job, then you have to work 80, 90-hour week to keep the job because somebody else is coming to gun for you. They just are. So, yeah, you managing up and out, Luke, is just phenomenal on that. So good work. Kenny, what you got?
So I talked with one of our subcontractors last Friday, I think it was. And he said something. So he's working with us on a client, and the client we came in over budget on the job, and then she said that she will supply some of the materials herself, the kitchen, the flooring, tile, some of those things. And I usually don't have a problem with people doing that. With kitchen installs, I don't like, with certain things, I don't like it because it's too detailed and we have to clean up after the things that they missed.
Yep.
He said if he has clients, customers like that want to do that, he said they can do that, but in communicating with them that if they do that, then we won't be able to cover or ensure the quality of the materials, and we won't be able to stand behind any repairs, future damages of the materials.
Yep.
So, I mean, this one I didn't do that, but I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's a very good option. And, we make less money because we have percentages in materials. So we have,
Right.
and yeah, if they want to order materials because they're cheaper and then also still get us to come back and fix things if there's damages or repairs that need to be done. But at this point with this customer, is it too late to mention that or bring that up? Because there's like 1 or 2 pieces that we're still looking at. She's still trying to determine if she wants to go with us or source the materials herself.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know her personality. I don't know the connection, all that kind of stuff. So all of those factors, I would say, as a general rule, I would say it's not too, late to bring it up. I would bring it up, but again, the personality, the connection, that. So you might do not bring it up for other factors that I'm not aware of, because cheaper materials often cost more labor.
Right.
And so if you're bidding a job, your labor will go up. Your labor will go up because you don't have the right materials or you don't have the right quality. So it's not only ensuring it into the future, it's the ability to get it done high quality and to get it done fast. You can't really tell them that potentially, or maybe you can. But But yeah, you can tell them the other, and a lot of times that's enough to move them.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Yep.
Anything else you got?
I do not.
Luke, what you got?
How do you determine when to give pay raises and when to hold back, especially when you're not out on the job?
Well, you try to build a system that goes ahead and rewards the team based on success and results. So you're not doing all these exceptions, you know? So you got like I read about a billionaire that owns a bunch of sports teams, and so he gets he gets the right people on the bus, and then he turns them loose. Um, and so I mean, he did marry one of the Walton girls, Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. So that's a few billion there that he brought into the marriage too. But he had his own, I guess, billions before that or something. Fascinating. But you want to build it based on systems and percentages. And so, this is what employees don't understand. like like kids don't understand this. This is why parents teach kids money doesn't grow on trees. So employees, we all think we're underpaid. We deserve more. As a business owner, as a salesperson, you're getting paid what you're worth. Like when I was the first 3 months, I was in sales, I made $1 an hour. Why? Because that's what I was worth. That's the results that I produced. And then I just learned to produce more and then produce more and then produce more and then produce more. Does that help, Luke?
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, you and Kenny, but definitely you as a minimum, should be on with Sue and Katie and Jason once a week. So I don't think you recognize what you gave up when you were not meeting with Jason on a weekly basis on the accounting dashboard.
Okay.
And so, but maybe you got everything out of Jason that you could, but there's a lot more to get. There's accounting and then there's finance. And so you're quick to dish stuff off, but are you quick to take that time that you have and invest it into something higher dollar productive, or are you going to just take that time and consume it with dopamine? I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions, Luke?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay, so this is when the fun starts here. Um, so, so the rafting trip, like that one's a life changer. Somebody at pickleball said, "Wow, you went on that one? That's pretty dangerous." I'm like, "Right?" And they're like, "Yeah." And a guy says, "Yeah." Another guy says, "Yeah." A friend of mine, I think it was his wife, she went on it. She got pinned and drowned. She died. um, and so Luke, we were talking on the pre-show. You always come early, you always stay late. And so you always come early, stay late. And so, like on the pre-show, you were saying something about I don't know about good to great and stuff, and about how I was what? What did you say? What was the word?
Uh, Brushed off or dismissive.
Yeah, dismissive or brushed you off. And so let's pick that up and recreate that. So go ahead.
So we were having a conversation about good to great. And then you asked me if I was gonna manage up and out, and then I said I probably won't. And then you brushed off the conversation, and that kind of ticked me off.
Right? Right. Is that the coolest thing in the world? Like, Kenny, why is that so cool?
That we were able to do that right then and there,
Okay.
cause the cause create that feeling for him right then.
Right. Go ahead.
Me?
Nora, do you see the magic of that, Nora?
Yeah.
What's the magic?
It's like not giving him the attention that he wanted.
Right? So so he brushes me off. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I won't. So he brushes me off. Like it's okay for him to do that. Like the little puny squirt. Like, then I brush him off. It's like a little boy who pinches. He's going around brushing everybody off. He thinks he's the center of attention. He thinks he's something special. So, yeah, you pursue me more. Convince me to go ahead and do something. It's like, are you kidding, you goofball? So he brushes people off. And when he gets brushed off, he doesn't like it. I don't like that feeling. No kidding, goofball. This is what you do all the time to other people. So the first experience that I had on that was Dan Kozar. Like he was a CPA and he was a loan officer. And he's like, like he's not getting it. He's just not getting it. He doesn't understand basic, simple things. And he was probably, I don't know, 5, 10 years older than me, had more experience, but he's not. It's like, Dan, you have this roller coaster going up and down, dude. Like, and it's like, well, there's always a reason. He's always snake, but always a reason. Got a reason. Got a reason, Mark. Here's another reason. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm 24 years old. He's probably 30. He's a CPA. He's got kids. He's got all this stuff. It's like, Dan, you goofball, you loser. Like, it's just stop it. Like, what are you, a goofball loser? So I just smoking hot, just smoking hole in the ground. 3 months later, he comes back. I said, Dan, you got the most amazing quarter in the world. I said, you go, buddy. Way to go. He's like, no, it's you. I'm saying, no, it's actually you, buddy. You're the one that, no, it's you. We argued back and forth. Finally, I said, why do you say it's me? He said, remember when you told me I was going to fail, going to land on my ass? Like you said I was a loser. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Every time I felt like quitting, every time I felt like giving up, every time I was inconsistent, I thought I was so mad at you. They didn't teach that in my bachelor's degree in management. Like, you pinch people. Like, once people do stuff without realizing it because they're immature. Like little boys, they pinch or bite other kids. Well, you'd think a 20-year-old, you'd think a 30 or 40-year-old man or woman, but they don't. They don't realize it. And so that is so cool, Luke, that you experienced somebody else treating you the way that you treat them and other people. That will be a life changer if you want it to be. And then I thought, like my kids, they say, Dad, you were never a kid. You're never a child. Like there's this baby that grew, was born and it was a person, a man. Like, I don't know what it's called, some movie. They're like, Dad, that's you. Like you were never a kid. You were never a kid. I don't think that's true, but there's probably more truth to it than what realized. Like maybe it's God telling me when I was 8 years old that you're average or below average. And I internalize that and know that I'm no better than anybody else, just not. And so I don't think that a lot of people realize that. Men and women, they think they're special. They think they're this center of the universe. And you know what? They're God's gift to mankind or womankind. And so, I think about Like I cannot relate. And it seems to be, again, maybe because I'm paying attention. I mean, it happens in the English world too, without question. But it's just weird to me in the Amish on how special they think they are. They really do. They think they're really smart and they think they're really whatever, whatever, whatever. They think a lot of themselves. They really do. Um, and so they want to do it on their own. They don't want to be trained. They don't want to be taught how to do better in pickleball. I want to learn it on my own. So I never felt that way. Like if there's a shorter way, a faster way to see success, I want to see success. But I think, and maybe it's because I never felt I competed against my dad. Like I never felt, I'm in competition with my dad. So I don't know. Is it something, daddy issues with people? I don't know. Is it something just like I'm going to be humble and I'm going to learn everything. If somebody's willing to teach me something so I can shorten the curve, because there's infinite amount of stuff I could learn in life. And so I don't know how to relate to that type of thing. And so that makes it hard. So you guys can bring that up in future podcasts. I think I'm really good in sales training because I'm not a naturally good sales person. So I had to learn how to sell. So I think I'm really good in training salespeople because I didn't know how to do it. It wasn't good at it, figured it out. I think I know how to teach people in sales, but teaching people how to think in the way that I think is really hard because I think a lot of it, I don't know if it came naturally or I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how I got what I got, but there's a lot there, a lot of unconscious competence. It's like, don't be prideful. Take all these suggestions you want to share. Like if you're going to share, like in Men in the Mirror, you see success and you look out the window and give other people the credit. You go ahead and see failure and you look in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? So if you're going to give everybody else credit for your success, well, then try to get as many other people helping you be successful so you're not a self-made man or woman. Get other people to help you because you're going to give them the credit anyways. So have them earn it. I don't know. Any other thoughts that any of you have?
So, with the Amish and figuring stuff out on their own, like there's a satisfaction or a dopamine hit or something when you figure something out on your own. Like, is that I don't know what my question is, but is
There's going to be so much, Luke, in life. There's going to be so much, Luke, in life that you're going to go ahead and have to figure out on your own. You don't have to go ahead and figure out things that other people have figured out.
gotcha.
Yeah. So I can't go to Google or AI to solve my problems. Most of my problems I cannot go ahead and find in a book, a workshop, a seminar, a therapist. It seems like the problems I have, the challenges I have, yeah, there's nobody that's going to be able to figure it out. I'm going to have to. But I'd love for people to do it. I want to. So I know what you're saying, and it's not wrong, but you don't want to make life harder than it is. You don't want to make sales harder than it is. You don't want to make business harder than it is. You don't want to make relationships or friendships harder than it is. You want to learn everything you possibly can from other people. And we'll bring this up again. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.